Hare Krishna, good morning. This morning we will discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, Dhritarashtra quits home, text 25. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nastriyasya Bhadrasya Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavatu Tamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike Tasya Pita Vadeyo Yam Kripanasya Chichivisha Paraityan Nityato Jirno Charaya Vasasi Ifa. Word for word translation. Tasya of this, Api, in spite of Tava your, Dea body, I am this, Kripanasya of one who is miserly, Chijivisha of you who desire life, Variety will dwindle, Anichyata even unwilling, Chirna deteriorated, Charaya old, Vasasi garments, Eva like. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. So this is Vidura speaking to Dhritarashtra. Despite your unwillingness to die and your desire to live even at the cost of honor and prestige, your miserly body will certainly dwindle and deteriorate like an old garment. Purport. The words Kripanasya, Chijiv, Visho are significant. There are two classes of men. One is called the Kripana and the other is called the Brahmana. The Kripana, or the miserly man, has no estimation of his material body, but the Brahmana has a true estimation of himself and the material body. The Kripana, having a wrong estimation of his material body, wants to enjoy sense gratification for his utmost strength, and even in old age he wants to become a young man by medical treatment or otherwise. Dhritarashtra is addressed herein as a Kripana because without any estimation of his material body, he wants to live at any cost. Vidura is trying to open his eyes to see that he cannot live more than his term, and that he must prepare for death. Since death is inevitable, why should he accept such a humiliating position for living? It is better to take the right path, even at the risk of death. Human life is meant for finishing all kinds of miseries of material existence, and life should be so regulated that one can achieve the desired goal. Dhritarashtra, due to his wrong conception of life, had already spoiled 80% of his achieved energy. So it behooved him to utilize the remaining days of his miserly life for the ultimate good. Such a life is called miserly because one cannot properly utilize the assets of the human form of life. Only by good luck does such a miserly man meet a self-realized soul like Vidura, and by his instruction get rid of the notions of material existence. Repeat the verse again. Tasapita Vateoyam Kipanasya Tijivisho Paretyanityato Jirno Charaya Vasasi Iva. Despite your unwillingness to die and your desire to live, even at the cost of honor and prestige, your miserly body will slowly dwindle and deteriorate like an old garment. Om Jnanatimandasya Janansala Shalakya Saksaran Meritam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namah Chitchaitanyamanopistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shigo Shiyuda Padakamanam Shigam Vaishnavam Sha Shirupam Charichatam Sakanaragnatam Pitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Paritana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagalita Shivishakam Vitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jatpate Gopesha Gopkakanta Radhakanta Namastate Tapta Kansna Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanashvara Vishabhana Satadevi Panamama Repri Vancha Kalptrabhasha Kripasan Varivasha Patnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namini. Namaste Saraswata Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskatyai Desatarani. Srila Prabhupada Ki. So we see Dhritarashtra is in a similar situation as most conditioned souls are. He is identifying himself with his body. He wants to make arrangements to live as comfortable as possible for as long as possible. But here Maharaj Vidura is trying to give him some mercy. Mercy is not that he went to his brother and give him his blessings, that a miserly person, a miserly person's vision is limited. Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita that the soul is unlimited, but our conception of life is limited. When we understand that we have nothing to do with the body or any other body since time immemorial, then all our attempts in this material world are seen as a waste of time. Shama eva ikevalam, the Bhagavatam says. Because the soul belongs to an unlimited place of happiness. And now we are in a limited place of misery. Trying to get happiness in a place where there is no happiness. Trying to find water in a mirage. This is known as illusion. Illusion is brought about by ignorance. But the mercy of Vidura is that he's giving his brother instructions. So Vidura instruct him to get rid of the nations of material existence. So how? This is the value of association of devotees. In Lord Chaitanya's pastime there was Kalya Krishna Das. And he knew the value of association with devotees. That he used to relish three remnants of the Vaishnavas. First, the water that has washed their lotus feet. Second, the remnants of prasadam. And three, the dust that had touched their lotus feet. So Kalya Krishnadas, he became a devotee by having faith in these three remnants of the devotees. So in order to achieve the elevated stage of appreciating the qualities of a devotee, one needs to receive instructions of a superior Vaishnava. Unless one receives instructions, one will not be able to appreciate the mercy coming from the Vaishnavas. One will not be able to understand what mercy is. So when Krishna was present 5,000 years ago, most people did not know who Krishna was. Everyone had their own conception of Krishna. Very few people understood who Krishna was. It is said in the 10th canto, when Krishna entered the arena to fight with wrestlers like Toshal, Mustika, Shanura, everyone saw Krishna differently. The wrestlers saw him as a thunderbolt. Kamsa saw Krishna as death personified. The young girls saw him as Cupid personified. Mother Yasoda, Nanda Maharaj, Devaki, Vasudev, they saw him as a beautiful young child. The unintelligent saw him as unintelligent. Those who were meditating, the yogis, saw him as Paramatma. The Yadus saw him as the most illustrious descendant. So everyone saw Krishna differently, and everyone got mercy differently. The wrestlers got their mercy, Kamsa got their mercy, Devika, Vasudev, Nanda Maharaj, and Mother Yasoda got their mercy. Everyone got their mercy according to Yeyatamam Prabhachante, to the level of their surrender. As they saw Krishna, Krishna reciprocated with them. Similarly, the purpose of coming in contact with a devotee is that one learns how to get Krishna's mercy. One has to learn how to get Krishna's mercy. Otherwise, when the mercy comes just by coming in contact with the devotee, then Krishna would not have a reason to speak Bhagavad Gita. The Vaishnavas Acharyas would have no reason to distribute transcendental knowledge, because it's not that simply by good fortune one becomes in contact with a devotee and goes back to Godhead, and nobody knows why he got a fortune. No. Krishna explains that there is a process to get the mercy. That process is dat vinipane partner pariprashna sevya upadekshante tegenam jnaninas tatvadakshina. So if we want to know and experience the truth, then the process is submission. That in reality, no one is submissive in this world. One needs to find someone to whom one can genuinely submit. And submit for, for, for pariprashna, in order to get jihnas, that in order to inquire, we must put forward relevant inquiries that about what we need to inquire about shreyas, the ultimate good of life. So, yes, we have so many breaths in the human form of life, duration of life, but how am I going to use my existence? Everyone thinks if I do this, I get so many things in return. That they think that I'm putting so much energy, I'm putting so many energy in it, and I get so many things returned. But what does the Bhagavatam say? Kamasya nandriya pritir labo jiveti javata. Chivasya tatvajichnasa nartoyasya karmabi. So, karmasya, the desires that we have. The soul must will. He thinks that he gets some idea within his mind and then considers how he feels about it. The supersoul is there, and the supersoul is noting how the soul is desiring and what he is becoming attached to. And he arranges through the material energy to fulfill that desire. So desire means the soul is willing. The soul wants to do this. So there is desire, karmasyan and reapritir. But the desire or will should not be to gratify one's senses. One may say this sounds quite extreme. Now I fast, I'm going to not to do anything for my senses. But Bhagavatam says, labhajivete javata. You can serve your senses, but only to according what is necessary to maintain the body. Just like a car, it requires maintenance. And one who is in unintelligence, it takes the entire day to take care of the car and how nice it looks, putting twice as oil in it as it needs. But one who knows the purpose of the car, he put the right amount of oil, gasoline, and cleans the car when necessary, because they want to use the car for a purpose. So serve the senses as necessary. But what is the use of the senses? It's to get higher knowledge. Vedanta tat vavisas tat vajnanam advaram prameti paramatmeti bhagavan iti sapyate. So the purpose is to develop love of Krishna, endeavor to become Krishna consciousness. For this we start to hear about Krishna. So how much do we have become aloof from bodily activities? That many times we have more interest in prasadam than in philosophy. when we hear the Bhagavatam, we start falling asleep, but we don't fall asleep when the prasadam comes. Then we are fully awake. So we have here Vidura is trying to wake up Dhritarashtra, come out of this well of sense gratification, that and begin your spiritual life. Dhritarashtra, yeah, Vidura is not directing Dhritarashtra directly to become a devotee of Krishna and go back to the spiritual world. That because Dhritarashtra did not accept wholeheartedly Krishna's instructions, but he will inspire him to become a dhira and attain liberation. That at least then he's on the path of liberation. So these words of Vidura are quite shocking. That especially for the conditioned soul, because it's a bitter pill to give up their illusion, a bitter pill to swallow. That yes, but because this verse says, despite your willingness. So this is an important aspect of our process of devotional service. Desire. The material world is based on desire. The banyan tree, described in chapter 15, is nourished by desire. Desire to, and what is that desire? Bhunkte pragati jan gunan is said in the Bhagavad Gita. The desire to exploit material nature for sense gratification. Sata sat yoni sarvasu. Then Krishna says, one does the cause of one's taking birth again and again in this world. So this desire, this willingness is important. And we learn, because by desire we become conditioned, by desire we become liberated. Srila Prabhupada says that desire is a subtle form of conditioning, material desire. That spiritual desire is the desire to please Krishna's senses out of love without asking something in return. That's pure devotional service. No desire for sense gratification, no desire for liberation. Just wanting to please Krishna birth after birth, that out of love, that is our natural condition of the spirit soul. So, becoming Krishna conscious means purify our desire. If we have material desires, we must try to, if possible, dovetail these material desires in the service of Krishna, and they become spiritualized. And we purify these desires. The material aspect goes away. The enjoyment for ourselves, that which is in terms of the conditioned soul, because our real self wants spiritual enjoyment. And that spiritual enjoyment is attained only by devotional service. But devotional service is based on desire. Devotional service cannot be forced upon anyone. That's very important. Like when we have our children, we educate them in Krishna consciousness. We must inspire them so that they do it spontaneously, not force them. Force will be counterproductive. They will remember that later. I've been forced. That of of so that therefore the parents have to give the example, and that will inspire the children. So this that means that whatever we do in life, Krishna said, Yat karus yat asnas yat yos dadas yat yat tapasya sikantya mat arpanam. So it says, yes, whatever you do, whatever you give away, whatever charity, that Kosva mat arpanam, last line, mat arpanam, you must do as an offering to me. So the desire must be there to do everything, what we do in our lives. The goal should be Krishna. So that is the basis of Krishna consciousness, is changing our desire from trying to exploit material nature to please Krishna's senses. Changing desire. But Dhritarashtra, his desire is material. He wants to give pleasure to the body and the mind and wants honor until the end of his life. That he's living at the cost of the Pandavas and Bhima, who killed his 100 sons. That it's not an honorable situation. And still he wants to be the king. And the Pandavas, out of respect for him, gave him the rule over Hastinapur, that after the Battle of Kurukshetra. And still he wants to enjoy. Although his senses are dwindling, and the end is clearly coming. And Vidura had been on pilgrimage for 30 years, and he did not forget Dhritarashtra. And he understood now the time is come. Now he will maybe now he will be receptive for hearing this transcendental knowledge, and he will be successful. And Gandhari and Dhritarashtra will leave for the Himalayas, and he will perform Astanga Yoga and become a Dhira and leave his body. And Gandhari will go with him. So that is the effect of a moment's association of a pure devotee. Just a moment's association can change one's direction of life by hearing of a pure devotee. Therefore, that's the mercy. That is the mercy, is that we hear from pure devotees. That many times people come to you, especially as a sannyasi, please give me your blessings. That the blessings is that the sannyasi repeats the instructions of Krishna, and you hear their instructions. These are the blessings that It's not that you get blessings and I don't have to do anything. No, you have to follow that. Well, what do they expect? That the sannyasi raises his hand and said, "I bless you," waving. No, that is not possible. That the blessing is hearing from them and trying to understand that and following their instructions. And this is here what Vidura is doing, is giving instructions, but he knows Dhritarashtra very well, and he knows how to speak to him to 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 to, to get him to realize his situation, that coming out of the illusion, because material life means a life in ignorance, that and it's only due to ignorance in the form of the mode of passion and ignorance that one identifies with the body and runs after goals in life, which is just going to degrade oneself. That like when Krishna came into the arena, you have all these different kinds of people seeing Krishna differently. But we must learn to see Krishna in the right perception. Therefore, to establish our relationship with Krishna, Sambandha Gyan, and cultivate the right desire, the correct desire, we must know who Krishna is, and understand his position. And understanding Krishna is not so easy. That for this we need to hear the Bhagavatam. That how Krishna reciprocates with his devotees. What are his sentiments? What is Krishna's feelings for his pure devotees? And that Lord Vishnu says to Vasamuni, my pure devotee, I'm always thinking of my pure devotee. My pure devotee is always thinking of me. My pure devotee does not know anything than me, and I do not know anything than my pure devotee. That's the intimate relationship which Krishna reveals with his devotee. That if we come out of illusion, how tat vinipanapatna pariprashna sevya upadikshana tekinam jnanastat darshana. You approach the spiritual master, inquire from him, serve him, humble. Then Khatyatvana Punarmam Evanyasya Sipandava Yena Bhutani Ashyani Dakshatyad Matyatomi. Then Kali you will see that everything belongs to Krishna and is in Krishna. There's only Krishna in this world. But we don't see. We have this separate mentality. But it starts all with changing our desire. That if our desire is changed and pure and become pure, Anyabilas Dasyunyam Jnanakarnamatanavitam Anukulena Krishnanushilanam Bhaktirutam, then we will approach quickly the goal of Krishna consciousness. It's just a question to change our desire. But due to the pollution of material nature, it's difficult, because it's the polluted aim of life, the mode of passion and ignorance, polluted aim of life. That so in that way we can understand the importance of this verse. that the life of the body and identification of the body is miserly. It is only suffering. That, but the devotee who becomes older and his body deteriorates, he becomes more joyful because he becomes more and more Krishna conscious and less bodily conscious. It's through bodily conscious that we are suffering. The more we identify with the mind and become a slave of the mind, we suffer. We should use the mind in Krishna's service, not listen to a mind who is our greatest enemy. That is very, very degrading. Yeah, we can say I'm trying, but my mind is telling me this and that and that. Don't listen to your mind. The mind, it's not the. Don't take the mind serious. Take Krishna's instructions serious. And if we do as instructions, and somewhere or another, Dhritarashtra got the point, and is being put on the path of liberation by Vidura. That and that is the value of a moment association with a pure devotee. That many have met Prabhupada, and association with Prabhupada changed their life. Even today, many get Prabhupada's books. If they really start reading it, it changes their lives. That if they are willing, desire must be there. Thank you. Any comments, questions, corrections?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you very much for wonderful class, Maharaj. So, Maharaj, how to develop those desires? Like any specific instructions? Because many times, because of our conditioning, mind is always dictating that this is better for you and do this because this is, you like to do it. But as you rightly said, we should not take mind seriously. But then how to do that, and how to increase the desire to hear Krishna's instructions and follow Krishna's instructions?
Well, how not to identify with the mind, with our real self? That's the question. Krishna explains that in chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita. We should make the mind our friend. It means we should not eat too much, not too less. Should put the right amount we need. Then not sleep too much, not too less. Then have not always working, also recreation in Krishna consciousness. That and one should follow the four regulative principles strictly. Otherwise, one cannot control the mind. One should live in goodness. Get up early in the morning, chant one's rounds. So otherwise, one will listen to the mind. And the most important instruction of the mind is always engaged in Krishna's service. Don't stop and let's see how things feels. The mind is cheating you constantly, constantly. That it tells you so many things to do, and we say yes. We become servant of the mind, of the material energy. But we are servants of Krishna, not servants of the mind. That if we become the servant of the mind, then we are finished. That, but balance is very important, and cleanliness, goodness is very important. And so that will help to control the mind, because we need the mind to fix our mind on Krishna. It's not that we can neglect the mind, but the mind must always be under control of the intelligence, and intelligence based on transcendental knowledge. If the mind makes proposals, we must always see that in Krishna conscious perspective, that and learn to discriminate. And that all starts with hearing and reading, having the Bhagavatam class, discuss it with devotees. That will help to control the mind and by engaging it in Krishna consciousness. If we are not, every moment we are not engaging the mind in Krishna consciousness, the mind will engage us in the service of the mind. That and Prabhupada said, someone asked to Prabhupada, how long does it take to become Krishna conscious? And Prabhupada said, just a moment, a moment. If we really have the desire, if we really have the desire, we can think of Krishna now. But the next moment, our mind takes us away from Krishna. That's the problem. If we really want. So this desire we discussed today is important. That, of course, we are discussing nectar of instructions, 6 things not to do, 6 things to do. If we don't follow that, the mind takes over. We must, this is really the instruction, the basic instruction to control the mind. That, so this is important, always control the mind. That if one eats too much, one is under control of the mind, for sure. If one sleeps too much, the mind is in ignorance. That if one sleeps not enough, then we cannot use the mind because we don't have the strength of the intelligence. Because intelligence is a part of the subtle body and needs deep sleep to recuperate. And if we are not sleeping because we are eating too less, then no deep sleep. And people who don't have deep sleep, they become crazy. So therefore Krishna speaks about this balance. And that balance in life will help us to progress in Krishna consciousness and to keep the mind in balance. The mind is strong, stubborn. It's stubborn, it's sanshala flickering. It's like a monkey jumping from one thing to another. And Arjuna said it's like trying to control the wind. But no, Krishna says you can with the suitable practice by and detachment. The attachment we get to become by becoming attached to Krishna and hearing Bhagavatam. That it is a very dangerous situation to listen to the mind. At the same time, we need the mind. And sometimes the mind is so strong. And the mind says, I want sweets, I want sweets, I want sweets. And we can say no, no sweets. And the mind becomes very sour. No, we need balance. You tell the mind is too strong, you say yes, I will give you a little sweet, but that's it. And that's it. That otherwise the mind becomes too sour. Then we can that, and that's also not good for a spiritual life to fix it on Krishna. So a devotee is always very careful not to do anything that will overhaul his entire situation. We need that balance always also. And for the mind, this is very important to have this balance of mind. And that so yes, anyway, there are more things that especially for controlling the mind, always eat prasadam. If you eat things cooked by devotees, by non-devotees, all their lust, all their things, all their lust goes into the food, and you eat that, and your mind becomes weak. That we need a strong mind. Follow strict brahmachari life. Grihastha is also brahmachari. Grihastha brahmachari. That these are very important instructions. Don't come under the control of the mind. Something bad happens, and a so-called bad, someone dies, relative dies, and then we think we must cry. We become depressed. That's what the minds tell you. But what's the use of all this? Your relative dies. You are the next one to be executed. And that's the reality. We are the next one. We are very temporary here. That. So it's not going to help anyone to do these things. So we need a firm control over the mind. Prabhupada says in the 6th chapter, without control of the mind, spiritual life is a farce. That we need the mind to fix it on Krishna and make it our friend. The more we hear the scriptures, the more the mind is absorbed in it, the more it becomes our friend. But in our daily activities, we must try to connect our daily activities always with Krishna and take shelter of Krishna, pray to Krishna. That yeah. Anyway, does that help?
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'm looking forward to see you on Saturday.
Yes, please.
Keep in touch. It's approaching now quickly. I'm in Vancouver. We have programs in the morning and the evening here. And on Saturday, I will leave here for the airport at 4 o'clock in the morning. My flight is at 8:40, which is nearly noontime in Florida. But then in the evening, then I see you at the airport. Thank you. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Jai
Thank you.
Prabhupada. Hare Bol.
Very important.